Well, good evening, internets. So nice to see you again. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And that done? It's the creation of a brand new book by January 1st, 2021, called NONFICTION Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the completely true, completely you brand you already are. And that's exactly what I'm doing every single night. I'm working on that book by coming down here and doing a live stream event. And it may not be a terribly long one. Sometimes it's like 15 minutes. Other times it's like an hour, but it certainly never has gone more than 2 hours because I'm writing this book a little bit at a time. Why? Well, to be honest, I don't have the attention span of Isaac Asimov, who it was said wrote 8 hours a day every single day of his life, which is why I think he still holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the most prolific author, or certainly one of the most prolific authors out there. I, however, am not one of the most prolific authors out there. However, I am working on it a little bit at a time every single night, and that's why I'm coming down here to work on the book this PM. In fact, this is day number 225 of my 301-day journey, which means I only have 76 more days to go before I have to upload files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform to actually self-publish this book. Yeah, but I'm feeling okay about it because I've actually got a ton done so far, and things are going very well. But I don't need to jinx that by not coming down here and working on the book. Instead, I need to work on the book, and so that's what I'm doing. Tonight, what am I doing? Well, I'm going to show you Scrivener, the application I'm using to actually write this book. And it looks a little something like this. It's got a main window where you write the book, you know, the main page and all that stuff. And then over here on the side, you've got all the chapters and sections, whatever you want to call them. And I'm doing a little bit at a time, and I'm color coding each section with a blue, green, yellow, or red flag. The green flag means it's all done, at least for now. Blue means it's pretty much all done, but it needs to be kind of fine-tooth combed and proofed a little bit. The yellow ones, like this one right here, branding equals doing, means I've started writing in it, but it's nowhere near done. And the worst of all are the ones that are red, that have not been touched as yet. And guess what? As of last week, there were a lot more reds, but I've actually done a good job this week trying to clean those reds off the board. But I still have a few of them, like right here. Oh my God, what am I going to write there? Or a couple of them are based on interviews I hope to do, like Michael Stelzner of Social Media Marketing World and Social Media Examiner. I hope to be talking to him on the podcast, the NonFiction Brand podcast, but I haven't scheduled anything yet. He may make the cut for the book, or he might not even want to be on the pod and therefore will not be in the book. I certainly hope it's the former, not the latter. And then a couple of things at the back end of the book are really just kind of back end of the book stuff that is not going to be hard to do. It's like listing my favorite people to follow and some of the tools I use specifically for my personal brand building via social media. And actually, those sections may be jettisoned if the book is too long. Because right now, the book, my goal was to have a book that was about 250 pages. Well, right now, the last compile I did, which was taking everything that's written and turn it into the right format for a 6x9 paperback book, came out to like 250 pages. So, and I've got sections to write yet, so maybe there's some stuff that I can drop, but we shall see. Yeah, so this section right here, the undeniable attractivity of vulnerability, is waiting for one thing, and that is a headshot from George B. Thomas. And I started writing the email to him about, hey, George, I need a new photo. And then I thought, well, that could be the subject of tonight's live stream. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly what I would write to George. Now, George and I are friends. He's been on the Nonfiction Brand podcast several times, and I consider him a good friend, and I hope he considers me one too. I don't know. But I never take that for granted. But I'm just going to say, hey, George. George, can you email me, not B, but me a digital copy of your latest new and improved George B. headshot? I'd like to use it to market your upcoming podcast episodes. And in the book I'm currently writing. Hope you're well and keeping up with your big goal of getting back to boot camp weight. Keep up. Oh my God. The stellar work. BP. All right, so that's me volleying into his court a request for a photograph. And that's certainly one of the things that I need to do on a regular basis is reach out to people for the things I need from them for my book. And if I do it one at a time, it just kind of comes in at a very handleable pace, and it's not a big deal. But anyway, let's go back to Scrivener, the application I'm using to write the book. And you can see that this section is kind of done-ish. I'll definitely want to read through it, and I'll probably add to it when I read through it again. Except I need to update the episodes because he's actually got 2 episodes of the podcast coming up soon. Well, actually, I can guess that out. So if 213, he'll be 115 and 116, I think. Yeah. Yeah, he's a really great podcast interview and someone I dearly love to touch base with, so that's cool. Bit of that. It doesn't show up as much on black, but that was highlighted. Let's see. That's weird. Anyway, what else am I doing? Branding equals doing. What needs to be done here? Oh, Molly Mahoney and Sarah Gross. So I've reached out to Molly. Molly's scheduled. Sarah Gross, I have not reached out to. And I think I definitely want to get her in here. So Sarah's been on the podcast several times, but I haven't talked to her in a long time. I hope I have her latest. Gosh, come on. Yeah, she's at mute 6 still, I think. Let's double check that. LinkedIn will tell me that. I can't type tonight. Mute 6. Let's just see. Contact LinkedIn, sarahgross.com. Just try her to through mute 6. Been a while since the last podded together. You up for another session on the Fiction Brand podcast? And just leave it at that. Keep it real light. If she says yes, then I'll send her details. It's always easier for people to email to a very friendly and personal brief query rather than some big pitch. So, hey Sarah, it's been a while since we last potted together. Are you up for another session on the Nonfiction Brand podcast? Bing, bing, bing. Send it. And that's out. So I'm going to just open up Trello because I use Trello to keep track of who I'm talking to when I'm talking to. And I've got a bunch of boards up, but the one I worry about is this one. Okay, so pod schedule, last contact email on 10/16/2020, Sarah Gross. And she didn't respond to my August query. But that's okay, because I'm hassling her now. And Richard Moore, I would love to get, but I've already got him in there under the power of consistency. Did I get him in here? Yeah, I need to write those sections. I've actually got enough pull quotes from him. You can see I've pulled some quotes from his previous episodes, and I need to write some wrapper copy for it. So I'm not going to worry about getting Richard on the podcast anytime soon, especially since he didn't reply to my August query. And no harm, no foul for that. It's just he's busy. Cool. I've got what I need. I just need to write this section. So I need to think about that. Paul Raimondo, those sections. I've got yeah, I just edited one of them. In fact, I should do that. Let's open up Descript. Okay, Descript is a really cool transcription service, and I'm actually paying for this. I can't believe it, because I'm so cheap, or I have to be so frugal because I'm a father of 3 daughters who are all college bound or in college right now. So money is always tight. But this is a really cool system. And just today I edited the first of 2 podcasts with 2 podcast episodes with Paul Raimondo. Number 113 is done. So I'm going to pull this into Descript. And I am going to check over here. Let me get my head out of the way so you can see it. I'm going to have it detect speakers. There are 2 speakers in the podcast. And then hit transcribe. And what Descript is going to be doing is actually kind of having its AI chew through the WAV file or the MP3 file, identifying all the words and stuff and transcribing it. But in a second, it's going to ask me to identify speakers, which is really cool. So I want to be able to show you how I do that, or how Descript does that. And again, it takes a few minutes, but bingo, right there. Multiple speakers detected in Nonfiction Brand, Paul Raimondo E113, MP3, identify speakers. Now watch how cool this is.
Thank you. I finally, it's a bit surreal. I finally have a separate room in my home in which is dedicated to my work.
That's him. Right, using lookalike audiences, bro. And that's me. So it will automatically assign each paragraph section to the correct speaker very, very quickly. So in the past, believe it or not, I have taken a half-hour podcast and transcribed it myself, and it took at least, I'm not a fast typist and a terrible transcriptionist, so it would take me 3 to 4 hours to do a half-hour podcast. Well, maybe 2 to 4 hours, somewhere between there. But look, right here, I've got the transcript, and the script likes to say that it's 95, 97% correct. I think it's probably closer to 95% correct than 97, but it still does a great job. I mean, except for things like dealing with the fact that Paul Raimondo is Australian. He's got a bit of an accent, so thank you, Davey. No, thank you, DP is what he said. But the cool thing is I can go in here and correct the media. So I know he said DP, thank you, DP. But here's the really cool stuff. So let's hear. Yeah, this is the lovely and talented Paul Raimondo from Perth, Australia. All right, so right really there. Good. But you can see it actually plays the from. Actually, I said Perth, Australia. Oh, it thought I was Paul. Isn't that funny? Because I faked a bad accent. And Paul said, no, it was really good. Now we can actually listen back and hear this. And the whole thing is, if I wanted to, I could go through this right now and correct it all. This is the lovely and talented Paul Raimondo from Perth, Australia.
That was really, really good.
Oh, thank you, man. And he said that was really, really good. And this will go up to me. Yeah. And I can go through and I could listen to the entire audio track and make the corrections myself. I'm not going to do that right now, but I did want to get this transcribed because I have a certain amount of transcription per month, and I want to make sure that I go through it all. So how can I find out how much transcription I have left? Transcription activity. You have transcribed 9 hours and 46 minutes since September 27th. That means everything will reclock up to 10 hours on September or October 27th. So I'm not going to transcribe any between now because I've got 10 hours a month of transcription that I can do. And so, in other words, I've maxed it out for this month, but that's okay because this is all good stuff. And I need to think about Paul Raimondo. Don't create document. I think I may have also transcribed some of his earlier stuff. Maybe not. Yeah. Well, anyway, the clock will reset on October 27th, so I'll be doing more transcription then. So where am I? For this, I need George's headshot. For this, I need Molly Mahoney and Sarah Gross's stuff. I've already written some stuff in here, but I want to focus specifically on these two ladies because Molly is focusing on Facebook and Sarah is focusing solely on LinkedIn. And I want to make that point that you can go deep in one and be really successful. All right. So I think that's about it that I can work on tonight because, again, I need some stuff. I need some transcriptions or some podcast sessions that haven't even happened yet. I need transcriptions from them to include in the book. So what can I work on tonight? Not that much right now. And that's okay because I'm filling my pipeline with stuff that will be coming in over the next week or so. And I will be able to continue working on the book. and going through. I think this next week I'll probably have to focus on doing some editing of some written sections. And I think of it as editing and amplification because, yeah, I need to go through and I need to stumble over words, which is my way of finding out which words need to be polished a little bit more. And maybe look for things like, am I making sense in this section? So I'll be doing that this coming week, I think, quite a bit, to turn those green flags, which you can see right here, or the blue flags. I need to turn them all green. So maybe I should go just straight down the list and start plugging in the fact that, I need to go through this section closely. I think I need to, well, maybe it's brief enough. Because right now it's 837 words. I'm looking at about 250 to 300 words per page. So let's divide that in half and say 275 per page. I'm whipping out my calculator here to say this is 837 words. 837 divided by 275 equals, that's about 3 pages. Cool. But 3 pages with an image in here. How big is this image? I want to keep it at about 300 dpi. So I'll probably leave it small like that because I cannot find a better image of that cover of Fast Company magazine. Can you believe it? I can't. I'm actually looking for a copy of that magazine because I would like to take my own photo of it and also have it for my purposes, teaching branding and stuff like that. But I've not been able to find it, so I'll keep looking. But in the meantime, the book's looking pretty good. Yeah, as a matter of fact, while I'm talking at you, I think I might go ahead and compile it. And you can see here, hold on, compile as a 6x9 paperback, compile. And what this will do is chew through everything. Save it as this, compile, and replace. And it's going to churn. So while it's churning, I'm just going to talk at you and hope that it doesn't take too long. It typically always does. Drink a little water. Because basically right now, I don't know how many words I've got, but I'm going to guess I've got over 60,000 words in this book, maybe closer to 65. And by the time it's done, it'll probably be about 70 to 75,000 words. And again, it's a business book, so it's not like a novel. It has to be a little bit more focused, a little bit sharper, a little bit more concise, so that people can read it quickly and get what they need out of it and start acting upon it. So this is not a massive book, but my first book, Rotoma, the ROI of Social Media Top of Mind, is a nice book at 214 pages. Yeah, 214, 15, 16, 216 pages. This will be add a 25% to it, and it's going to be a significant book. So I'm feeling good about that. Feeling cool. And I think it's going to be a very handsome book as well, because here's the cover that I've already designed. It still needs some work in terms of blurbs and things like that. I mean, if you look closely, you're going to see some Easter eggs on this book because I was just being a smart ass. But I'm going to actually send this book out to people in the book so that they can have a look at their sections and maybe supply me with any corrections, like if I've got anything wrong in there, like especially if I misspelled their name or something. But I'll include them. I'll send them PDF copies in email, and also ask them politely for a blurb for the book. And a couple of people, I'm going to see if they would be interested in maybe writing a foreword for the book, because that's a big ask. But, you know, some of the people that I'm including in the book are really, really super people. and I think they would see the benefit of it, not only for me, but for themselves as well. There's no better way to be considered or prove that you're an authority than to be asked to write a foreword for someone else's book that is authoritative about a subject, right? So if someone said, hey, DP, would you write a foreword for my book? My answer would be not only yes, but hell yes, because that is a fantastic venue for anybody who wants to boost their personal brand, which is what this whole book is about. So we'll see what happens there. The book isn't quite ready to send out to people as yet, but I think I'm going to probably start at the beginning of November trying to contact people about their sections within the book to see, number one, if they can make any corrections. Also, if they'd be interested in blurbing the book, because it would be great to have a couple of pages of blurbs in the book. I've got spaces on the cover for a blurb on the front and on the back, or even 2 on the back. So it would be possible to have 3 featured blurbs from people that I would consider kind of the top tier people that I'm dealing with. And I think that would be a wonderful thing to have for the book. So I will be asking certain people if they would help me out there. Her in here. Hush, David. I'm trying to see. Yeah, that looks okay. Let's see. Where are we with Scrivener? Yeah, it's taking a little bit. But just hang on. It's thinking its way through. Well, actually, it's taken a while. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say goodnight for tonight. But that doesn't mean I won't be back tomorrow, because I still have 76 days left to go on this never-ending journey. Literally, I started this on Friday, March 5th of 2020, coming down here every single night to work on the book. And I have been successfully, with the exception of 2 days where I was really, really sick with Lyme disease. Lyme disease of all things. Can you believe it? Frankly, I thought it was COVID. It wasn't. It was Lyme disease. Go figure. Anyway, I'm done for tonight. Thank you so much for helping me out by keeping me honest and working on this book. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, which you can find anywhere that you get your fine podcasts for free. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and just about any place that features high-quality podcasts. Ooh, guess what? I think that's done. Let's see how many pages I've got so far. I've got to open this up in Word. And Word is going to do its thinking. Let's do view. What is that called? Oh, I forget what it's called. It's got a navigator or something like that. Anyway, well, let's just go to the last page of the book. And again, it's kind of thinking its way through. You can see down here at the bottom of the page that it's doing a word count. It's got 62,000 words, and it's formatting the pages as it goes. Come on, baby. I am going to guess 255 pages in toto. Zoe Deschanel. Yeah, I got to resize those photos. There's a lot of formatting that I have to do once I get this into Word. Okay, we're at 64,500. Oh, it's still grinding up. Are we going to break 65 tonight? 65,000? What did I say? I said 255 pages, and look what's right there, 255 pages. 64,532 words. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good about that because when I go through and reformat stuff, that's probably going to lose 10 pages. So let's say I lose 10 pages and that goes down to 245. I'm in great shape considering the fact that I have at least 25 more pages to write, at least, for the book. So that's looking really good. And a lot of that is due to you, because you made me come down here, and I curse you and thank you to death for helping me out doing this. As I said before, I'm DP Knudten with the Nonfiction Brand podcast. New episodes come out every Monday. This Monday is a brand new episode with Paul Raimondo from Perth, Australia. I like to think of him as the wild man of Western Australia, and if you listen to the podcast, you'll understand why. So until then, until tomorrow night, it's time for me to say goodbye. But first, theme music. Take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow night.